Welcome to the September 22nd, 2020 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I am your host, vysethebold, doing a flawless intro for our fans out there. And this is...
Lotus Prince.
Oh man, not a stumbling block, not even a tremble in my voice.
Yeah, and I did pretty good with my 3 syllables as well.
Oh, you know, I really should have just written it better. Like our intro better, like so.
Hey everybody, welcome to podcast.
It was better. It's too staccato. It's very staccato and hard to say.
Welcome to Corrective Consciousness.
No, this is reactive.
Oh my god.
It's not time to talk about Castlevania yet.
Oh.
But a ton of stuff happened this week, Lotus. Ton of stuff. Really big.
If stuff could be converted to mass, then this would be equivalent to about that much. Yes.
You know what? That's how my chemistry teacher in middle school taught it. He's just mass is the amount of stuff in something.
I mean, yep.
Yeah. Did you know stuff is a Shakespearean word?
I think you brought that up at one point. Yeah.
Stuff dreams are made on. But yeah.
Also, assassinate. Like, what does an assassin do? Assassinates? Because it used to be just, kill, I think.
Well, it's the opposite of assess out.
You're gonna have to explain that one in lengthy detail.
Oh, it had enough length as it is. Believe me. Too much, in fact. But we should probably talk about the PlayStation stuff first, just because that's the big news, honestly. That's the off the presses, as it were. We're of course, almost a week late.
Yeah, I was gonna say breaking news.
No, but we have to talk about it because it's extremely important. So, Sony did release finally their pricing of their hardware, and it's what I thought it would be. It's $500 for their main disk drive version of their console, and $399 for their digital. I still think that is a very reasonable price for a new system.
Yeah, and so did everybody else, because those things disappeared fucking instantly.
Yeah, I mean, I think $500 is the sweet spot. I don't think it's asking for too much, especially considering how much computer hardware, we'll get to that in a minute,
yeah.
But it is starting to cost, or has been costing, so...
And speaking of disappeared instantly, by the way, there was kind of a botched launch in terms of when it would come out. Because Sony said, it'll come out starting tomorrow, but a lot of retailers jumped the gun, and their limited stock disappeared instantly. So after GameStop and Best Buy and Target and all that shit had been pre-ordered, Sony was like, well, we'll have our stuff ready tomorrow. And everyone's like, what? Really? And so, Sony actually... put out a formal apology tweet about this, which that doesn't really happen usually. So it was,
well, they promised ahead of time. They said ahead of time there won't be a clusterfuck of a pre-order situation, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, everybody scrambled for the 2 copies their stores had and found that they were sold out because someone else was quicker.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. Now, I think it's very reasonably priced. I think they are betting heavily on their digital-only version, but I think there's going to be sour grapes. I think there are going to be more people that accept a digital-only system nowadays. However, I still think if you're given the choice, most of the people who play games will want to do the $500 one, mostly based off of the fact that if you have physical copies of games on the PS4, especially, I want it for the future of games too, but this is supposedly they said it was not 99% backwards compatible, which is a really good number. So it makes me wonder, what game do I like?
Just won't work on the PS5.
Yeah, you know that in that 1%, it's something I like.
Yeah.
Something that we both like.
Some obscure bullshit that like only we care about.
It,
but can it play Kowloon's Gate? All right,
it turns
down.
out PT is not.
Yeah, son of a bitch.
Son of a. It's the only thing I wanted. But
the free title that you can't officially get anymore.
Yeah, that we both had to covertly get onto our systems.
Yes.
Because we didn't own PS4s at the time that it was.
Yeah, I got it at the store and then had to
delisted.
enter a back door to like download the thing that I officially got. Yeah.
Yep. Me too, buddy. I think we both did it at the same time, being like, "Oh God, I hope our systems don't get like perma banned or whatever."
I couldn't believe it worked.
Yeah. No, me either. But what's the system that it was using like some kind of
some proxy on the internet.
Yeah, it was a proxy. Yeah, that was it. But
like some proxy IP address or something.
Yeah, that was it. So November 12th is the launch date in North America, Japan, and Europe, and then everywhere else will be shortly after that. I think the next week. So I think they are playing hardball with Xbox, but Xbox is playing a different angle. They're not directly trying to compete with Sony. They don't have as many exclusives, but that's not their jam. They are going for extreme compatibility across their entire legacy.
Yeah, that's a very strong advantage.
They are also giving an extremely cheap option, which is still a good option. $300 for their low spec one. It's still going to play everything. So I looked into the main difference, and there's no 4K, but there's tons of people that don't care about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't even have 4K.
Yeah, I mean, I have it. I want it, but not every. It's like people who, it's like Dolby 7.1 surround sound. Who gives a shit? Who has a 7.1 surround sound? Home theater, barely anybody.
Same thing for that limited set of PlayStation 3 games that had like 3D TV compatibility. That's cool, but like you don't have one of those.
Great. It's unfortunate that technology never became mainstream.
It just didn't catch on.
There are a couple games that like once you've played it that way, you don't want to play it.
Child of Eden.
Child of Eden in particular. Yeah.
But no, one thing I was going to mention though is that where Xbox makes a killing in backwards compatibility, Sony is doing the same thing it did when the PS4 launched, which is having several games. Like I heard Horizon Forbidden West and Spider-Man Miles Morales are going to have PS4 and PS5 launches. The PS5 ones will obviously, I think, be like a little stronger and maybe run a little more smoothly, but there'll be that period where you can buy the the PS3 or the PS4 version. Now it's the PS4 or the PS5 version.
I mean, that's been a tradition that's been going on ever since like the Xbox and then the 360 had that going on with a few different versions. So I mean, that doesn't surprise me. The GameCube and the Wii had that quite a bit. So I mean, I get it. But I think the major things that they announced other than this, and I think I'm looking forward to this generation because it seems like Microsoft is stepping up with value propositions, which is like insane. I think that's really, really great. I'm probably going to buy them both. I don't think I'm going to update my PC because it's too expensive now. It's gotten to the point if I need to upgrade it, to a decent to what's high spec right now, probably and get a 3080 or DX 3080. More on that later. I'd have to do that and get a new processor and a new motherboard, and by the end of it, I'll spend $2,000. I mean, why can't I just buy a $500 console that, like the Xbox, that's back that is going to get everything that Microsoft endorses? So why not? And it'll run it well in 4K with no problem with ray tracing. So. I'm really looking forward to this. I think this generation is going to have a lot of action in it, and I like what both of them are doing by and large. Now, they did reveal the next Final Fantasy game as well. It was a credible rumor, it turns out, that we were commenting on.
Yeah, full-on trailer.
Great. It looks great. I think it looks really neat. They went away from the anime look.
And they went back to their medieval roots. They're not doing the Final
Yeah.
Fantasy VI like Final Fantasy VII, like
And not
sci-fi
even
Final
anime
Fantasy.
medieval. It looks more like it has more in common with The Witcher than it does with, Dragon Quest, for instance.
Yeah.
It looks like a realistic medieval, like, with magic, but like a more realistic looking art style, which is really neat. It's very refreshing, and I think it's very smart. They're trying to get rid of the Bishonen.
Yeah, because I mean, like
boys.
as cool as Final Fantasy 15 was, you can't do that twice.
Yeah.
Like you're driving around in like a realistic regular car. It's a clever idea, but you can't keep doing that.
I liked that game. What I played of it, at least. I played like the first few hours of it, and I just liked the whole aesthetic of it. But and I also like the goofy licensing that's peppered throughout it. I actually think is a plus. But this one looks really, really neat, and I'm looking forward to it. And of course, you had like the old farts in the audience that are going like, "Where's my turn based? It hasn't been turn based since."
Yeah, where's your turn based? Like, are you fucking
10.
kidding me?
Since
Yeah,
10.
I was gonna say the PS2.
Literally since 10. Like, 10,
11. It's an MMO, but
no, that was the start of the action based kind of stuff.
was it? Because I remember FF12 had the Gambit system that wasn't turn based at all, but 11 I thought was turn based.
12 and 11 have a ton in common in terms of their battle system. It's almost identical. So like that's where 12 got its inspiration for its battle system is from 11. So
okay.
I mean it. The last time we literally had a Final Fantasy, an actual Final Fantasy game with turn based stuff, was 10, and that you old farts, like, stop it. Like, it's,
yeah, we were in high school at the time.
Yeah, I mean, like, Final Fantasy Remake didn't even have it. Come on. So just this is the way it is, and it's good. I mean, like, a lot of these Final Fantasy games have been good. But and it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, which is not a surprise to anybody. Really cool though. I'm super excited for that game whenever the fuck it comes out. That won't be out for a long time. But they did have gameplay. They did have like in-game engine gameplay.
Yeah, but you never know. When there was an original trailer for Final Fantasy 13 Versus that had gameplay, and that game never came out.
Well, no, it became 15. So
yeah, exactly. Not in that form at all.
Yeah. Also, an announcement that base games are going to be, some of them will be as high as $70.
Including Demon's Souls, which is a fucking remake. To be fair, I think they might be adding that secret sixth world, so...
Yeah, they are adding a sixth world, and it is a massive upgrade. I mean, I've seen the gameplay, and the old gameplay did not look like that. This is a complete overhaul. It's a remake.
It's Bluepoint. It's the people who did the Shadow of the Colossus thing.
Yeah, well, even that, like, had a lot in common with its original assets. This just looks like a brand new game. Just in terms of the details on the characters and like the monsters, it's so much more detailed. I don't see this as a particularly bad thing, because a lot of games... It has
been like 15 years.
Yeah, it has been 15 years. That's number one. Number two, when we were kids, Super Nintendo and Genesis games were up to $90. I think Fantasy
Chrono
Star...
Trigger was like $80.
Yeah, Fantasy Star 4 was a $90 game when it came out, when it was brand new, and that was in like early $90s dollars.
Yeah, I don't think I ever broke 50, but like, yeah, games could get ridiculous.
N64 games were very expensive. They came out at $60 at the time, and that was a lot more money. Like that $60 was worth a lot more money than our current $60.
They were 60? Because I remember I remember GameCube games were 50 and Wii was 50, and there's a big upset when like PS3 was 60.
No, N64 games a lot of times came out at like $60. I remember them. Like Smash Brothers and stuff like that. That was a $60 game. I remember just having a hard time buying N64 games because I could buy a PlayStation Classics game at $20, and the greatest hits games were $20 new. and those were some of the best games of this generation. Those games still hold up. You know, I'm not surprised, and a lot of games have like the DLC that immediately comes out that bumps it up to $70 anyway. Also,
I hate that shit.
Yeah, I mean, also, you know, I can wait for it to go down. I mean, like,
That's the thing.
yeah.
That's the thing. I was going to complain about the price increase, but I'm like, when's the last time I bought a game when it came out anyway? Except unless it was like a collector's edition or something.
We buy full price games when it's going to be really hard to find it. And,
well, that was the thing.
Yeah.
I need to see what the print run is going to be for Demon's Souls because
you know, it's going to be low. It's a launch era game. It's going to be low.
Yeah, because like that is one of those things I might want to snatch up before it disappears, but I don't want to pay $70 for Demon's Souls.
Well, let's see what the reviews are first too.
Well, I'm sure they'll be good. I've already played Demon's Souls like 3 times, but that's not the point.
They might fuck it up, or it might not run well, or
that is a concern.
Some serious problems. You don't know that, so we'll wait. You know, whether the new section is worth it or not. You know, let's check it out. Let's see what the consensus is. But by and large, I'm not upset about that. And in fact, there was a lot of belly aching, but a lot of the people that belly ached also said that they pre-ordered the system right away.
Well, that's the whole thing. Yeah, I can't believe the video game's
so
$70. Allow myself
funny
to spend $570 for one game. Well, a couple games, I guess.
I mean, I find the attitudes of people to be like really, really goofy.
Yeah, I would rather pre-order games than systems. Like, I'll wait for the systems to be fucking fixed and optimized before I pay. Well, not full price for them.
The potential for problems on early adopter systems are way higher.
Like, does anybody have people already forgotten like the 360, which like 50% of them fucking failed?
Yeah, I mean, there's always all kinds of problems. I mean, the PS3 also had
the PS3 it wasn't quite as widespread, but it was bad.
The yellow light of death is very much a concern.
I don't know if it was 50%, but it was around. It was very much around.
The yellow light of death is still very much a concern if you have a backwards compatible PS3. That's why I barely use it.
Yeah.
I own one and I'm afraid to use it, and that's a bad thing. I can't wait until I have a PS1 and an X and a PS2 that are fully HDMI capable.
Yes.
Because once I do, I will never have to deal with a crummy PS3 again. I could buy like one of the later models and never have to worry about the old model.
That's what I have right now. Like my PS3 is also my PS1, but my PS1 is for like fan translated or foreign games.
Exactly. That's what you want it for in post life anyway. In post mortem, you want it for all the obscure stuff. But I mean, I was overall happy with the event. I'm happy. It's nowhere near the contention that we had with last generation with all of the the DRM shit and all that kind of stuff. Nobody got caught with that crap this time around. Everybody learned their lesson, which is great.
We'll still leave it to individual game developers to decide that their entire clientele is potential pirates.
Yeah, I mean, if Microsoft isn't worried about it, then I mean, what Microsoft is doing also is that they're providing a service that is very much worth what they're charging for it, and like that's way better than piracy. Like,
that's the whole thing. Yeah, don't like give us convenience and comprehension or comprehensiveness, and like make it easier than pirating would be.
Yeah, I mean that's what they did when
we're not afraid of the money. We're afraid of like you deciding to fuck us over, unless the product's like extremely expensive.
Exactly. I mean that's what happened when iTunes made it big, is that it stopped the widespread mainstream piracy. I mean, piracy always exists, but not everybody does it now.
Yeah, when Steam, GOG, like iTunes, when they give you this this convenience database of the things you own and they make it like easy to access, like sure, I'll do that.
Absolutely. I think that's great. I don't have much else to say other than I think it's pretty great. And that also, remember with that $70 thing, that's an option that a company can take. And also digital sales are extremely prevalent now. So like you may be able to buy these games like on deep discount like a year or two later after they come out because they want to continue to sell them, a digital version of them. So I mean, I wouldn't be too upset about that. Moving on, Nintendo had a whole bunch of stuff happen this week. The first thing is they released out of nowhere a Nintendo Online game update. So they're adding three new games to their online services, which were pretty great. These were very welcome additions to their services. So the SNES app for Nintendo Online subscribers on the Switch is getting Donkey Kong Country 2, which may be one of the best platformers ever made.
And it's arguably the best of the trilogy. Like people kind of waffle back and forth between 1 and 2. Personally, I think 3 is underrated, but like 2 is just so good.
And also has some of the best music of that generation as well.
Oh yeah,
so
it's classics. It's
Donkey
like
Kong
what's better, like Donkey Kong Country 1's underwater theme or Donkey Kong Country 2's jungle like vine bramble scramble theme?
The map theme's really good too. So anyway,
yeah, they're really good.
I love all that piratey stuff anyway.
Yes, it's a great aesthetic.
And also for the Super Nintendo app, they're adding another import game, which I'm always happy to see.
Yeah, this is something I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, Mario Super Picross. I was aware of the Game Boy game, but not. And that was a Super Game Boy enabled game. But there was a Super Nintendo Super Famicom version of Mario's Picross, and I love Picross. Picross is a great game. This is going to be really good. It's a free game if you're already subscribed. So that's one of the best deals going too. You get access to Nintendo and Super Nintendo games for $20 a year. I mean that's pretty good. I was playing Super Mario World only a little while ago, and also Super Mario All Stars was just recently added as well. I'll do a quick reminder. So that's great too. And the NES app is getting a Natsume Classic Scat, which is quite good.
That ties into the Night Trap universe, doesn't it?
Not quite. But you know that Natsume back then and still currently makes great games. So they're the ones that are making the Kiki Kaikai game.
Yeah, that Pocky and Rocky, yeah.
Pocky and Rocky, the Wild Arms
Wild Guns.
Wild Guns.
Yeah, Wild Arms is, I don't know who did that, but
Wild Arms is a Sony property. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, it's an RPG series.
Yeah, but and they made that Ninja Saviors game as well. So
that's right. Originally called Ninja Warriors, I think.
Yeah, but Natsuma's output from that era is really good. Shadow the Ninja is a great game. And there was a third game, Shatterhand, I think was their other
that
game.
Was that. Oh my god, that's the game that game is pretty solid, but like that cover, man, it's the best.
Very 90s.
It's extremely 90s.
But then they did their Nintendo Direct mini partner showcase out of fucking nowhere. So this was pretty cool. So the biggest one right off the top was that they announced a new traditional Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter Rise. So this is going to be like the games before World. So that's a good thing for some Monster Hunter fans. They want to kind of. I know Mr. Ryu prefers that style, but Monster Hunter World, of course, is extremely popular.
Yeah, that got a lot of people into the series.
It's the best-selling game of Capcom of all time.
Which is incredible considering that Street Fighter 2 exists.
Yeah, and all the Resident Evil games that were so popular.
Yeah.
It beat out Resident Evil 5, which was like the best-selling game for a long time.
Which is kind of funny because in my opinion, it's one of the lamer ones in the series. But like after how cool 4 was, people exploded about 5. Yeah.
The hype was real, and not only that, but it was a really good 360 title. Like
and it played very well. It played very despite what I've said about it, it plays very well.
And it was a great co-op game.
Yes.
You didn't play co-op, I don't think. It was really good co-op. So.
No, I actually... No. I did play it co-op, actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I played it with our friend Luminaire.
Yeah, no, it was a good one. It was a good one. So Monster Hunter Rise looks really great. That's going to be on the Switch. And they announced right after that another Monster Hunter game, like right after that, in the same breath, Monster Hunter Stories 2. Monster Hunter Stories 1 was a 3DS title, and the Stories games are what you probably would guess. They're like one-player versions of the Monster Hunter games. They're like more like an adventure title set in the Monster Hunter universe. So that's pretty cool. Adding like a different gameplay style to the series that's now a behemoth. So that's pretty cool. They announced a new fitness boxing game to Fitness Boxing 2, which is always good. It's always good to see more exercise themed games. And out of nowhere, a new Disgaea game. This is pretty cool. Disgaea 6.
The
Which
Disgaea
looks
games
great.
are consistently solid too.
Yeah, it looks great, and they are giving online subscribers free limited play of Disgaea 5 to whet their appetite, so that's pretty cool. They've announced this one before, but Romero Games, John Romero, is making Empire of Sin, and that's going to hit pretty soon. Sniper Elite 4, which is a part of a long classic series by Rebellion, the makers of the original Alien vs. Predator franchise. The Long Dark, I didn't get much out of. PGA Tour 2021, 2K21. That's pretty cool. There hasn't been a serious golf game on the Switch yet, so there's been arcadey ones, but not like a realistic sim in a
Actually,
long time.
come to think of it, I don't think so, but they don't have a Mario Golf, do they, on the Switch?
No, Golf Story is like the big game. If you
Okay.
want to play a golf game that's like the Mario Golf games. Yeah, Camelot didn't make a golf equivalent to Aces, which was a fantastic tennis game.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at that because they usually release them very soon after each other. So maybe they're working on that. I would imagine because the Mario Golf games are really, really good. They're a lot of fun. This one is like a big success story. So Supergiant Games coming out with Hades 1.0.
Yeah.
It came out of early access for the Steam version, and the Switch version came out, and I think it's the top sold game on Switch right now, which is insane, actually. So this is their first roguelite game, and Supergiant Games has made awesome games in the past. They're the makers of Bastion,
Yeah.
Transistor, and Pyre.
Yes.
The first two were extremely good. I played quite a bit of both of those, but I beat Bastion. I didn't get a chance to beat Transistor. I need to go back to that. But apparently people love this game. They're very, very thankful and surprised. It's probably their best-selling game to date, and their games have always sold well. So this is pretty. I'm excited for that. It's really a good honor. And let's see, Balan Wonderland is coming out. That's Yuji Naka's game. That looks very, very much like a spiritual successor to Knights in a lot of ways, if you ask me. Like the on-foot sections of Knights in particular, just with the way the characters move.
The parts that you play for about 3 seconds before the real
really
gameplay starts.
Yeah, it looks. I don't know what to think of it because it looks kind of stilted and weird. I need to reserve judgment about this one. Plus, Yuji Naka's games always tend to be a little weird. Like they tend to have like solid mechanics, but like they're always kind of like low tech. I got to see what's going on with that. Rune Factory 5 is another title that's coming out for the Switch as well, which is the Harvest Moon Magic equivalent.
Yeah.
Those are very popular games, and this was a nice one. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, the second game, finally got its release on Switch with a physical of both titles coming from I Am 8-Bit. and a really nice edition, a really nice physical.
Yeah, the
edition.
stained glass looking case for it. It's quite expensive though. I think it's like $200.
Yeah, but it looks cool.
It looks gorgeous.
I won't be buying it, but it looks.
Yeah, I'm staying away,
cool.
but it's gorgeous.
This is a fantastic Metroidvania title, and also a Microsoft game. I will reiterate.
Yeah, I played the original Ori and the Blind Forest on PC, and it's utterly brilliant. So I'm excited about Will of the Wisps.
Yeah, that I didn't play the second one yet, but I will. I probably will get it on PC or Xbox. But it's a great game. I really loved the movement in that game. Is really
and speaking of PC or Xbox, the I Am 8-bit collector's edition that comes with both games, they have Switch PC and Xbox versions of that.
Oh, that's really cool. Oh, PC as well, huh? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, physical PC.
That's awesome. Also, this week, I think it was Friday or Thursday, Super Mario 3D All-Stars did come out, which is the collection with Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy on it. Mm-hmm. And of course, everybody's been trying to find a copy of it. Did you get yours in the mail yet?
No, it's expected to come out on Tuesday.
Okay, well, at least you have an expected date. Some people don't even have that.
Yeah, it's pretty obnoxious. I mean, like, not that I have a Switch anyway, but
no,
like,
but you want it.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for it to show up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's yours, and you don't want to miss out on it, of course.
Yeah.
Now, I was lucky enough to get my copy by yesterday, so I was very, very happy about that. Best Buy got it to me. Now, so the details on what exactly the game entails came out. So it's straight up emulation of Mario 64. I didn't think anybody would expect anything different than that. But it seems like there's like a combo port for the other two games. It like they ported the mechanics and stuff like that, but like the aesthetics and the way it looks and the sound are emulated for the other two. So apparently,
I hear Sunshine has like no widescreen version.
I don't think so. I think that does have widescreen.
It does? Okay.
Yeah. People are saying that it is the best way to play Sunshine Mario. Like even amongst like fan stuff and stuff like that. So that's good news. They also by now people have found out the differences. Like so that game used some pressure sensitivity in the shoulder buttons. Like if you
to adjust the force of your like water spray.
Yeah, no, I think it was for if you were doing it while running or stationary. It's one or the other.
It's been a very long time.
Yeah. You use either or. You use either the the ZL button and the L button. So they do separate buttons for those two inputs now. So that's pretty cool. And a lot of people are saying that Galaxy looks really good too.
I mean, and again, Galaxy looked good in the era of HD, and it was not HD.
Yeah, I mean, there are some really big crunchy nerds that are complaining about Mario 64 being just basically a straight-up emulation, but it's way better than playing it on the original hardware. I hate to tell you, like it has a lot of conveniences. They added they smoothed out all the text, so it's not like all choppy and like zoomed in bitmaps. It has a much better draw distance than the original game. I think some people were really complaining about like the games don't run at 60 frames per second. I don't care. They run a lot better than they did on their original hardware. All three of them.
Actually, speaking of text, one thing I'm mildly curious about. We've talked about this a long time ago on this podcast before regarding speedrunning, where the concept of certain languages being faster than others.
Sure.
Because there might be more characters in a word in this language than that language, or the scroll speed is different in this language than that language. Like for a long time, people insisted on playing the Japanese version of of Mario 64 because it scrolled faster. But eventually somebody compared times and realized that yes, it scrolls faster, but there's more text to scroll through
Sure.
in Japanese, so they went back to English. Weird
Yeah.
little quirks like that. So I'm wondering what the calculations are going to be for the text on the Switch version.
Yeah, and you brought up you were wondering whether it was going to be the Shindo version or not, and it is.
Yeah, this is
Um,
something that I've seen people talk about on Twitter. Oh, is it gonna be the Shindo version? And like anyone who's complaining about that, unless you're a speedrunner, you don't give a shit. You never heard of the word Shindo until like a week and a half ago.
yeah, and also like those guys live on original hardware in order to do their thing, so
That's
I don't
true.
think they're particular. That group is particularly miffed about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, the Shindo version's more interesting because, let's face it, as a kid, you did not know about the backwards long jump glitch, and Mario 64 having Rumble is pretty cool.
Also, there is one important difference. Did you pick up on this?
Regarding Shindo?
Yep.
Oh no! Oh, the other difference. Yeah, this is yeah. Like you no longer hear him say "So long, King Bowser," which everybody heard as "So long, Gay Bowser" because he says the heavy accent. "So long, Gay Bowser." Like it's like, or maybe it's even just "So long, Bowser." "So
Yeah.
long, Gay Bowser." Like, but whatever. But they changed it to like what was it like "Bye Bye" or something?
Yeah, it's just bye bye. Yeah.
Yeah, like okay.
But they changed it back then. It wasn't like it was like something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they went back
But
and
it just makes me think of Star Fox, where everybody complained about, hey, Einstein, I'm on your side. And, like, how did these weird fictional characters know about Einstein? So then on 3DS, he was like, hey, genius, I'm on your side. And everyone was like, what?
human race
But I grew
confirmed
up
in
with
Star
Einstein, though. Bring it back. And it's like, shut the fuck up.
human race confirmed in Star Fox. It's not just
No,
it's
not
not just
necessarily. There might be
Lilac.
some sort of weird anthropomorphic creature called Einstein, who is also a genius. It's like in Battle. This is a weird comparison to make, but in the movie Battlefield Earth,
Oh,
where the main character gets his like knowledge ray, and he's like, "Oh my god, I know math and science now," and he's talking to people about Euclidean geometry, and I'm
it was
like,
like you don't know Euclid.
"Yeah, I'm like, did the weird alien race also have a mathematician named Euclid? That's incredible."
It's back and forth across the Cartesian plane. Oh, what a bad movie.
Yes,
But
I saw it in theaters.
I'm sorry.
I paid money
That's
to see that
actually
in
like a
theaters.
point of pride.
It kind of is because it's a fun bad watch, but like you can't keep doing it. It's like it's very long.
It's like when I saw Dragon Ball Evolution in the theater.
Yeah, I still have not seen that movie, and I will not. That's not fun bad.
That's
That
what
just
you
looks like
think.
fucking awful. Yeah.
That's what you think. We're doing it.
You can ask me to do it. I'm not doing it.
We'll have a party sometime
And I'll find an excuse to leave early.
at your house.
A party at my house.
Yep. Yep.
What parallel universe is this?
Lotus Queen, we need your son's house. But anyway, let's see here. We also have let's see here. I think that's pretty much it for Nintendo stuff. But there was a bunch of announcements that M2 made. Oh, yeah. So M2 announced that they are coming up with an Aleste collection, which is pretty cool. Do you know the Aleste series at all?
I've heard the name, but I don't know anything about what it actually is.
Do you know the game Musha, for instance, on the Genesis?
Again, heard the name.
Do you know Zanuck or Gunnack?
Names.
Okay, it's a shmup. Gunnack is a shmup series. Is a shmup on the NES that features like rabbits and stuff like that on the movie.
Okay.
That one's that's famous for. But
No.
anyway, it was a popular shmup series in Japan. Only a few of them made it to the United States, but they're considered all-time classics. Musha's probably like the biggest one. It was called Musha, at least in Japan. There was a Space Mega Force was also part of that series on the Super Nintendo. But anyway, they're releasing a collection with both Sega Master System games and both Game Gear games on it for all modern consoles, I believe. So for the Switch and the PS4, actually. I'm sorry, not the Xbox. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm a little weirded out that they didn't put the Genesis games on there. Like those are their biggest titles. The Musha and Robo at least are their two biggest titles, and they didn't put them on there. They also have a few titles on the PC Engine that they're not putting on this collection. So the probably the best ones are the second game on the Sega Master System and the second game on the Game Gear. And also the second game on the Sega Master System only came out in Europe, so that's kind of a big deal to get worldwide distribution. And getting a real copy of that game is hundreds of dollars now, so that's pretty cool. And they also announced a fifth Game Gear Mini with the least games on it, so that's pretty cool. Also, M2 announced that Ketsui Deathtiny, which I've talked about before, it's one of the best shmups ever made. It's really, really good. It was previously only a Japan-only title. I had to import it in order to play it. It's getting a North American release. They confirmed that. They're coming out with more details later, but that's great news because only some of their Shot Triggers games have made it to the United States, only about half of them. So it's really good that probably the best and most prominent one is actually coming over to the United States. So I'm really happy about that. Also, this is kind of funny. Do you know that there was a game for arcades called Earth Defense Force, Lotus Prince?
Oh, arcades?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
So there was a Super Nintendo port of Earth Defense Force back then as well.
Okay, well, that I knew, other than the Super Nintendo thing, yeah.
Yeah. So that was a Super Nintendo port of a Jalico shmup. It's a Jalico.
Yeah, it's not related to the giant insect shooting games. It's just coincidentally also called the Earth Defense Force. Even in the original Disgaea, there was a group of elite people who defended the planet that was called Earth Defense Force. It's just a name.
Well, it's also a play off of what Japan also calls their semi-military.
Yeah, like the SDF or something?
Yeah, well, it's NDF, I think. It's
NDF?
National Defense Force. It's basically, they don't have an army, they have, like, what we would call our National Guard.
Yeah.
They're their National Guard in case of emergencies. Their military is our military, technically. So, ever since World War II. So, that's... I guess that's not a trademark term, Earth Defense Force, because we have two companies coming out with different products. But this is a good shmup, so I'm happy to see that. They've been pumping up obscure ones ever since Sunset Riders, which was like one of the best ones they ever did. I hope they return to like the more popular Konami ones, like. I hope they do Ninja Warriors, which is basically like a sequel to Sunset Riders, only with ninjas. And that never got any port at all. It never got to the Super Nintendo or anything like that. So I hope that maybe it's not called Ninja Warriors. I'm sorry. That would be the Taito game, right?
Yes.
What was that title? Sunset Riders. They had a game that was sort of a sequel called Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Mystic Warriors. That wasn't too far off. Ninja themed, but very similar. So you can be a ninja like snowboarding, of course, because that's what ninjas do. They snowboard. Lotus, you knew that, right?
I mean, it wasn't hard to extrapolate after seeing like the Ninja Turtles games, so
yeah,
sure.
I mean, they're always sewer surfing, all of them.
Yep, and that Neon City...
Neon Knight Riders?
Not surfing? Yeah, Neon Knight Riders, yeah.
Was it 2020, or was it supposed to be 2020, or was it 3000 AD?
It was like I don't remember.
Yeah. Let's kick shell. And... Now for some kind of depressing, like, oh shit kind of stuff. So, not only did the PS5 sell out almost instantly, a bunch of other stuff sold out almost instantly. The NVIDIA RTX 3080 sells out almost instantly, and it's been verified that bots are the culprit specifically in this instance. So this is the hot new graphics card that everybody wanted to get it on, and it like all the major retailers like Newegg and Amazon sold out of them like almost immediately, and it was due to a specific bot ring. Like people are using a specific bot, and they're running like some kind of weird subscription service so that these people can scalp them. And I think one particular person got something like 40 of these things. Isn't that
Yeah, but like,
ridiculous?
can't you just easily cancel those purchases?
Apparently, it does it in a way that is tough for them to catch. But they said they're going to be looking into, catching this person.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that works. Considering why don't you just look up the credit card? Like the sync. I'm sure that they're not using 40 different credit cards.
Yeah, right.
They must. That's ridiculous.
And
Nobody
even if
should
they
be
were,
that
like, the
anyway.
shipping information, they're all going to this one person's house.
Exactly. It must. It's ridiculous, and they need to fix that. They need to do an IP thing or something. But maybe part of the bot is an IP switching thing. I don't know, but that's not fair, and it sucks. And this is the kind of stuff that ruins things for everybody else. I mean, with the Nintendo stuff, like I don't understand why that stuff is limited, but I absolutely understand why this is limited. I mean, it's a cutting edge technology, and it's hard to produce it. So I don't fault Nvidia for running out of them. I fault them for not having good defenses at these retailers. I fault the retailers too. So that's a bummer, especially for people that really wanted to get these in time for the holiday season or whatever. So it kind of stinks. And this is going to be like the new hot graphics card for a while now. And people probably won't be able to get it for another year, to be honest. And also on the smaller end, more for nerds like us, the PlayStation Digital sells out within 2 minutes, which was pretty disappointing. Lots of people did not get a hold of this. It sold out within 2 minutes. I think it was verified. I was able to get one. This is the HDMI mod for the PlayStation 1. But unfortunately, Lotus, you were not able to get one. So
Yeah, like you usually when I'm sitting at the computer and the time hits, like I'm good at getting this stuff.
Refreshing,
But
yeah.
I got to it at like 10:30 and it went up at 10, so I didn't have a chance.
It stinks. You might not have even gotten it even if you were doing that. Like 2 minutes. Like what if you were just stuck in PayPal or something? Like
Nah, I log into PayPal early. It's usually fine. But like
I'm just saying,
I got there way late, proportionally speaking.
What if the website wasn't
Yeah, that'd be a whole other
updating
thing.
quickly
Yeah.
and all that stuff? So it stinks because I think there were only like something like 45 units. So I mean
No, 450.
Oh, 450. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if it's 45, then like nobody would get it,
Well,
except for 45 people.
But I mean, it still was a low amount for the amount that this was being hyped, because all the major nerdy, crunchy, like modding scene people have been talking about it. Even Metal Jesus Rocks did a whole video on it, and he's the person to hype up to get the audience, because he has probably the biggest audience out of everybody. Retro RGB's been hyping this up. Like a whole bunch of different outlets have said that this is going to be it. It's going to have instant switching for multiple resolutions, so you can play your Final Fantasy games and Chrono Cross no problem on this thing. It also has no discernible lag. They did a test with a CRT with CRTs on that versus I think composite, and it turned out it was basically instant. They were both equal in terms of transmission. So the generation of that digital signal is just exactly the same as the analog signal. So really awesome stuff. This is going to be really great for playing PlayStation 1 games, especially for people that will have an X station whenever that gets released, the ODE. So yeah, I mean, they were upset that it sold out so quickly, but they promised that they are continuing to order more and more units of this, and they really want to get as many as they can. And that's very reasonable for a hobbyist project like this. I mean, this is basically one guy producing this, so I mean, during a pandemic too. So you know, hopefully it will be readily available at some point within the next year. I'm hoping. Also, out of nowhere, like Nine Inch Nails announced that they are releasing the original Quake soundtrack on vinyl, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty rad.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you that didn't realize that Nine Inch Nails did the actual soundtrack on the original Quake, that soundtrack is classic. It's amazing, and it's as amazing as any other great thing by Nine Inch Nails.
I think even some of the ammo boxes say like NIN on them.
They do. All of them do. So yeah, they make reference to it. So that's really awesome. I mean, Nine Inch Nails and first 90s first person shooters go together like peas and carrots. They're just simpatico. I love that industrial type music. And also, Nine Inch Nails just won an Emmy for their contribution to the Watchmen soundtrack. So they did the entire soundtrack for Watchmen, the TV series. So congrats to that. I ordered this immediately. I've slowed down on my vinyl collecting, but I had to have this. It's just a crossover appeal is just so cool, you know. Nine Inch Nails and Quake all together on vinyl. That's really cool. That's rad. I also picked up the original Metal Gear. I'm sorry, the original Metal Gear.
Nice.
Recently, like the MSX one. So I was pretty excited about that. Moving on, Whoopee Camp, who was a great developer that made a total of 2 awesome games before they folded. They were the developers of the 2 Tomba games. You ever play Tomba on the original PlayStation?
No, I never played any of them.
They are both fantastic. I definitely recommend them, especially... I would even think they would be in your wheelhouse for an LP. They're basically like Metroidvanias. They're really, really good. They're 2 of my favorite games for the system. They released in a Japanese manga for the second game through Famitsu. And the company is actually the people who run their Twitter account, which is probably the original CEO of Whoopee Camp, is actually trying to collect people together to translate the manga into English, like an official translation. I thought that was really neat. Just a cool thing. Also, the creator we talked about this last episode, or at least this game. The creator of Rayman and Beyond Good and Evil, Michel Ancel, is leaving gaming to do wildlife preservation. He also confirmed that Beyond Good and Evil 2 will continue to be worked on without him. So he I think this is like the biggest update that we've gotten on Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, the biggest update that we've gotten is that the creator is leaving.
Yeah, it's not a good sign. This might be a game that's in development hell for a very long time. I mean, it has been. So, I'm not very optimistic. I mean, especially without the man who loved it, is leaving, and that's not a good sign. So that's kind of sad. And also, the Rayman series was great. He worked on all the Rayman and Raving Rabbids games, and the vast majority of them are really, really good, especially those last 2 Rayman games. Those last 2 Rayman games were, like, beautiful. I loved them. Did you play Origins and Legends?
I never played any of them.
Oh, okay. Origins is, like, one of the best games I've ever played. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it. It's one of the best, like, platformers ever. It's really, really good. Also, so moving away from gaming stuff, I just wanted to talk about this briefly. This is a big week in TV for me in particular. The new season of Eric Andre show is showing up on Friday. I'm sure you'll be watching that as well.
I mean, I've never actually watched it on TV.
Oh,
I've just seen
really?
clips when I go to friends' houses. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Like
love it.
any random stuff I see of it is funny, but I don't like watch it.
Orpheus, Morpheus, Orpheus, Dorpheus.
Yeah, that's freaking genius. But I don't watch the show though.
Oh, it's really good. Legalize ranch. But I love that, and also the new season of Fargo is going to be up on Sunday, and I am stoked. I cannot wait for it. I will be very excited to see that on FX, so I can't wait. Also, I was watching this evening's Emmys, and Schitt's Creek and Watchmen got a lot of Emmys. I think the entire cast of Schitt's Creek ended up getting an Emmy for the entire main cast. Each got Emmys, and it also got like the production ones as well that they were nominated for. It was just really awesome. That's a great series. It was really funny. And Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy and Eugene Levy's son are all like geniuses. They're great. So,
But the big question is, did Watchmen season 8 get an Emmy?
So, Watchmen. Who watches the Watchmen?
Oh wait, no, I fucked that up. I completely fucked that up. Let me try that again. Did Game of Thrones season 8 get an Emmy? That's what I meant to say.
No, it was not nominated in the slightest for anything.
You surely you jest.
You remember that everybody was into that series, and then no one talked about it.
And then the end was so bad that nobody even rewatched. Like, cause you know how with some shows like Dexter, people are like, dude, watch the first 4 seasons.
Yeah, up to
then
season
you're good.
4. Yeah,
but
yeah.
Watchmen, or not Watchmen, Game of Thrones is just like
written out of history.
Gone.
Yeah, it's written
like
out of history. Like it's
like,
no longer in like the lexicon anymore.
That's like legitimately incredible.
Yeah.
Like the creators intentionally just like sloppily wrote the last season so they could fuck off and do Star Wars,
and then they got
fucked
fired
the show up
that.
so bad that they were like, get away from us.
And good for them for doing that, because like
don't reward that shit.
Yeah, they completely ruined their legacy. I mean, like they hastily threw together a whole bunch of shit, and like there were beats that made sense, but not in the time frame that they did it in.
And then there were beats that made no fucking sense.
Yeah, exactly. So, but Fargo, which is one of the best shows ever made, and I will continue to talk about it, that way. I cannot wait for this. The first 3 seasons were fan-freaking-tastic. The first season in particular is like immaculate. The third season is like has one of the best episodes that I've ever seen on a TV show ever. It's like one of my favorite things to watch. I'll rewatch that episode anytime. It's the jailbreak scene, the jailbreak episode. It's just so good. The second season's great too. Don't get me wrong there. But I can't wait for this one. It's star-studded. It's going to have Chris Rock in it. It just looks fantastic, and it's going to take place in Prohibition era, I think. So I'm really looking forward to that this week. But anyway, Watchmen, which was also one of the best shows of this year, is getting a ton of Emmys as well, and it deserves it. I recommend to everybody to watch that show. It was really, really good.
You recommend everybody watches The Watchmen?
Who watches The Watchmen? Everyone watches The Watchmen, happily.
If you want it to be comic accurate, you have to say, like, everybody wah or something, and like, cause don't you like never see the full message clearly? Like in the comics, it's always obscured or something.
You see it.
I mean, like the message itself is obvious, but aren't some letters always like blocked by like someone staying in front of them or something? Like, I don't know if you ever fully read the whole sentence.
I don't remember that, but you could be right. I'm not sure. But
like the message is obvious, but I don't know if you ever have like all the letters at once.
Yeah, and but I thought this did the original comic a lot of justice. Like they never called them the Watchmen.
Yeah, the
Which
movie weirdly did that. I think just once, but way early. And we're like, really? They're the Watchmen?
I mean,
That's not the point.
the idea is that the Watchmen were like are anybody in charge, not just the superheroes.
Yeah, that's where the expression comes from. Who
Yeah.
watches the Watchmen? Who guards the guards? It's like it's the same concept.
Well, apparently nobody in our political climate. But
Yeah, well,
anyway.
we'll get to that in one of our next bullet points. Yeah.
But you put this one in here, and I thought this was a big deal too. But I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, this is just interesting. Japan has recently ruled, like through its top court, that tattoo artists do not need a medical license, which basically like legalizes tattooing because like if you got a medical license, you're probably not going to dedicate your life to being a tattoo artist.
Yeah, I think the
So
idea was that like doctors could get it because like surgeons use tattooing for practical purposes. Like they'll
yeah,
label like limbs that need to be you know
yeah, like the point is though, like
worked
when you
on.
get your MD, you're not going to be making cosmetic tattoos like you have the
Yeah,
whole
you'll be a
medical
doctor.
world of possibilities. So even though like tattoos weren't straight up illegal, this basically opens up Japan to tattoos. I don't think everyone's going to jump on it because there's still a huge stigma about them, but like
Yeah.
it will at least be theoretically possible to go find a guy who can give you a tattoo.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know this already, I'm sure a lot of our audience already knows this because weebs, but we're weebs too. But
Yeah, Japan is very anti-tattoo.
yeah,
Very
they consider
anti-tattoo.
tattoos to be associated with the crime life. So
Yeah, like there was actually a
stuff like
really
that.
amusing point when this was back when I was streaming the original Shenmue, where there's a part where you need to go find a guy who you know hangs out in this one tattoo parlor at 3 p.m. or whatever. So you can go around asking random townsfolk like where the tattoo parlor is, like is there one nearby? And anytime you ask anybody, they're like, Rio, like, I think you're making a mistake, buddy. And some people in the chat were just like, what are these people's problems with like body art, but like remembering that this is Japan in especially like in the 2000s was like 20 years ago, like Rio's asking where a tattoo parlor is and his father was just murdered. Odds are he want like why would you ask for where a tattoo parlor is? Duh, because you want a tattoo, even though that's not actually the reason. So people assumed Rio wanted to get a tattoo, which would imply that like now that his father's dead, how is he going to go about getting revenge? Is he going to join a local gang or something? Because
Yeah.
that's what the question implies, like in that culture.
Yeah, so I mean, just to give our audience for instance, a lot of times foreigners have a hard time in Japan, in particular, like in going to like the bathhouses, at the hot springs and things like that, the public
Yeah.
ones, because a lot of them say like no tattoos.
Although I will mention, contrary-wise, this is by no means true of all bathhouses,
No.
but some of them are actually more receptive to foreigners because like well,
Sure.
there's no damn way you're in the yakuza.
Well, yeah, but there's still some places that will just straight up just say,
Oh, certainly,
yeah,
certainly,
yeah,
but
and
some places might actually, ironically, be more open to foreigners than Japanese people
yeah,
with tattoos.
yeah, and it's a big shame because tattoos in North America are extremely common. For instance,
Yeah, and there still used to be a stigma here, but at least it
not
wasn't
not anymore.
specifically associated with like the mafia. It was maybe you're a punk or something.
Every girl that I've ever dated has had a tattoo,
Oh yeah,
including
it's gotten a
my
lot more
fiance.
mainstream.
Uh,
Even at the workplace, some of them will be like, "Eh, I wear long sleeves," or depending on the
it
workplace, they
doesn't
don't
even
care
matter
as
most
much.
places
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
Especially, I know plenty of even retail establishments that don't care. I
Yeah,
mean,
people care less and less. I think at this point, the bare minimum is like not on your face, and even then, it's like,
yeah, I mean the
yeah,
face tattoos are like most people cringe at them. I would say.
And most people wouldn't do that anyway, so it's not
exactly.
so it's a non-issue anyway. But.
I mean, that is usually.
But yeah, like at this point though, like the rules about tattoos are kind of like rules about like coloring your hair like blue or something. It's like we don't care anymore.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, if you go to any restaurant, chances are like one of the servers walking around will have a full tattoo sleeve.
And 100% of the chefs will.
Yeah, exactly. Like every bartender will have it too. So I mean, like it's the point where like not having one is actually the rarity.
Like, look at Mr. Babyface over here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you and I don't have tattoos.
Yeah, I'm just not interested. It's not like, my feelings of self-expression. I just don't want a tattoo.
It's not for me, but in fact I like it on other people. I just don't like it on me. It's one of those things.
I remember one time we went to MagFest. Like one of like Perry's friends from New York, he had like a Dungeons and Dragons beholder on his arm. Like, it's awesome. Fucking cool.
Yeah. I mean, I have absolutely no problem. In fact, I love that my fiance has tattoos. I find it attractive. But like it, just not for me, myself. So it's good to see some progress, and especially in a relatively conservative era.
This is a huge step. This isn't like everyone in Japan is getting tattoos, but like the possibility is, it's either now or will soon be open.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, they're not going to go running in droves to get them, but like someone's going to, and eventually it'll be normalized.
Yeah, absolutely. And moving on to this is something that we normally don't get into with reactive consciousness. This is a political kind of announcement, unfortunately. But unfortunately, We've seen the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the Supreme Court Justice here in North America, in United States.
Yeah, and she's been in and out of the hospital for various reasons for years. So like,
she's been sick with cancer.
Like we knew it was coming, but so now it's finally happened at 87 years old.
She is an extremely accomplished, individual, somebody for everybody to look up to. Has done tons, especially for civil rights and the rights of women. A really big icon, probably one of the most revered people ever to have the role, and certainly somebody that's going to be celebrated for a long time. Also happens to her passing happens to. It really stinks that it's not just about her passing, because she was a great person, but now we have a political climate that is so divided and really it's really upsetting that we immediately get into arguments. After a great woman's passing, it really stinks, and it stinks that so much rested on her shoulders. She couldn't just like. Stop working because of a political climate. She couldn't, take care of herself. Live the rest of her days with just her family. She had to keep going on. And there's a lot of other all kinds of nastiness going on. I'm not going to go into it, but it just really stinks. We lost an iconic person, and it stinks. Yeah. I don't know if you have anything else to say about Lotus.
Nah, nothing new that won't go into some like forever long tangent.
Yeah, I mean, like I could bore you with.
There's lots to talk about, but not here.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it here. I'm not going to alienate anybody in the audience either. But I certainly was a huge fan of her, and it stinks that she's gone. That's all. And anything else for the good of the order, Lotus?
Jeez. No, I think that's probably about it.
Okay, that's the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and Soundcloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. Helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. This is so much easier to say than the intro. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture. We have yet another entry in our Castlevania retrospective, Lotus, with plenty of spin-offs to go over this time.
Ooh.
Yeah, some spin-offs that probably don't get a whole lot of love either. So I'm actually pretty excited to talk about. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on Steam, PSN, Xbox Live, Twitter, and whatever else.
And you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, and I've only just started putting up Alan Wake, getting in an exclusive live
is that
streams.
that game where the play on words is a Wake?
Not even close.
Oh, okay.
That's a different game called Alan Wake's American Nightmare.
Oh, okay. Wait, how can it be awake if he's having a nightmare?
You know, it just raises too many questions.
It's too deep.
Mr. Nigma. So if you're interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, I only just finished 100%ing Evergrace, so there'll be a new game coming up next. So I'm one of the 3 people on Earth who's 100%ed Evergrace. Not because it's hard, but because nobody cares. And bragged about it.
And has footage of it.
Congratulations. It says that. For real. Congratulations.
Wow.
It actually does in the year 2000.
Yeesh.
Congratulations, 100%
in the year
items.
2000.
So, getting an exclusive live stream, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, and Alan Wake is one of those, or getting in conversations with me and other patrons on Twitter, then perhaps consider swinging by my on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/lotusprince.
Okay, well, we'll catch everybody on Thursday then.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.